It's the Hot Rod Podcast with Ron Foreman and Brady Wright. We literally live, eat, and breathe cars. Thanks for joining us on the podcast today. Make sure that you hit the subscribe and the like button, mash the notifications on so that you'll know every time we put a new show together and bring it to you here on YouTube. Time to get going. Let's see what's happening this week. Hey, this is Brady Wright's the Hot Rod Podcast, and this is a special edition show. Instead of having Ron here with us tonight, we're actually going to bring in some folks to talk about the Father's Day car show at Real Life Valley Church in Spokane. It's a big deal. It's probably the greatest individual, independent car show that happens all spring. It's on Father's Day, and I'm going to have a bunch of folks here in just a little bit to talk about it with you. You're into cars, you love a good time, and you'd rather build it than buy it. You just might love the Rat Bastards. We're a family-oriented nonprofit organization. We believe in 1969 and older, in the rough is enough, real steel and iron, old school, traditional hot rods and rat rods. We get together, have fun, help each other build, and cruise like crazy, because that's the way car clubs are supposed to be. The Rat Bastards are a new class of old school, and our signature event is the Infestation every July. We're charter sponsors of the Idaho Hot Rod Hall of Fame. Join us at cruise-ins all over Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls, and the Inland Empire, or at our club in Seattle. We're on the Rat Bastards Car Club page on Facebook. Join us. So, hey, I told you I was going to bring a couple of people along, and look who showed up. John Claricio is there from some anonymous car club in Spokane. I don't know what the name of it. Is that it? It's the Dukes, we know. And one of the, I think, aren't you guys the oldest club in Spokane?
Yes, sir. We are.
Yeah. What a great club. I've seen these guys all over the place at various things. And I know you've come to a couple of the Idaho things. And John was up at the last Cars and Coffee up at Killer Burger in Hayden. And welcome to Lynn. Lynn, you're kind of a celebrity. Didn't you win Best in Show at last year's car show?
People's Choice, which was Best in Show. Yeah.
People's Choice is the Best in Show, isn't it? I mean, That's kind of how that works.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about your car and stuff in a minute, but what we're here to kind of talk about tonight is the Valley Real Life Father's Day car show, and it happens every Father's Day. On Sunday at Valley Real Life Church in Spokane Valley. Now, while we're kind of talking about the show, I'm going to run all the information about it, the who, what, where, when, and why, and all that stuff underneath. So there will be a really cool thing along the bottom here that that does all of that while we're talking about it. But at least I think this is correct. For the last 3 years, the show has fallen on hard times, and they were forced to use me as the MC. But they're getting things back together, and they foolishly re-invited me to do it again. So I'm happy to do it. It's such a great show. Have you guys been coming to the show for a while?
Well, I've been coming for about 3 years.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been coming before the pandemic. It's a lot of fun. It's been a great show.
It really is. And it's a car show. It's all classes. And so it's hot rods, rat rods, customs, classics, resto mods, you name it. I mean, there's been a lot of different kind of things. Plus, there's been in past years some tractors and some, go-karts and other stuff. There was a couple of race cars up there last year. So it's a really good show. And it brings a lot of people there for two purposes, obviously. One of them is to bring their cars. And the other one is to get a little bit more acquainted with the Valley Real Life Church. Now, what time's the show start in the morning on that Father's Day Sunday?
It's going to be starting at 9 o'clock.
Right.
Everybody shows up around 7. It starts setting up around 7. Yeah. And then the enthusiasts show up about 9 o'clock.
Sure. Now, and during the show, I mean, we're going to get people set up, and they're going to be, in place to do what they do. Cars kind of arrive all morning, but during the show, there's 3 separate services, I believe. Isn't that correct?
That's correct. So after every service, people come out and look at the cars and have a grand old time. And there's Dad's Root Beer here on Father's Day.
Right. And last year, a big one, I will say that I personally sampled several of Dad's best products. And, you guys got food up there. There's games for the kids. Last year, you had a bounce house and a bunch of, inflatables. And last year, we actually had some slow drags at the show. Not going to do that this year, I gather. But other kind of fun special things are happening as well. John, I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm curious whether or not in years past, John Kennard's friend, he knows a guy who's a pilot, and they've done some skywriting and some other like aerobatics and stuff up over the church on the day. Do you know whether that's a thing this year or not?
Yeah, it's going to happen again this year. Weather
Nice.
permitting, he'll be up there trying to do the skywriting again.
Yeah. Well,
So it's kind of neat. It's interesting how they do that.
Yeah. Well, if there's not too much wind, we'll be able to read the skywriting because the first year they did that, it was a little giffy, but yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, I'm sure. Now, Lynn, I want you to tell me about your car that won People's Choice last year.
Well, it's a 1932 Ford Roadster, full fendered, and it's purple in color, and it was built back in 2000, and so it's survived very well. It's still got low mileage, about 7,000 miles on it.
We're going to run a picture of it just a little bit here.
Oh, okay. You've got a picture, huh?
You bet.
But yeah, it's a nice car. I've won a lot of shows with it, and it's been a lot of fun.
Cool. So, and you may have said this while I was thinking about running your picture. What kind of motors it got? Powertrain?
It's got a 350, 300 horse V8 Chevrolet engine.
All
right. Got a Mustang 2 front end and a 9-inch rear end. It's an automatic, turbo hydromatic, 700 arc.
Oh yeah.
And so it's pretty well decked out. I've got heated seats. It's
Wow.
got remotes. It's got a fob for starting.
Nice.
It's kind of a secret deal. No one could start my car except me. So anybody I show how to do it, I've got to kill them. So
as it should be.
Yeah.
At certain shows, we have to remind them that the car won Best of Show.
Yeah.
Not him.
Yeah. Well,
other than that, it works good.
These trophy hunters, I mean, I know how it is,
Not really. I've been really a little embarrassed some of the shows that I've won. For a while there, some of my fellow Dukes kind of have said, when I lift the hood on my Deuce, that's when I start winning shows. So,
I mean, and I think this is true. I mean, of everybody that I've ever met, I've been doing this for a while, and everybody that I've ever met in the car business, with rare exception, they build them because they love them. It's not about winning the trophies. If somebody decides that you've got a nice ride and they want to give you some recognition, you'll take it, of course. But really, it's like, this is my vision. This is what I saw. This is what I wanted. And whether you turned the wrenches personally or paid somebody to do it, you end up with the car or the truck that you want. And, it's just fun to take it out and just kind of sit there. I know I personally have gone to shows and taken cars to shows where I just stepped back and kind of looked at the car and went, I built that.
Yeah.
It's a long ways from perfect, but it feels good. It's a sense of accomplishment, I guess, but it's also just plain old house and garden variety fun. And I think that's what it should be. Yeah,
it is. And it's nice to meet all the other car club owners with their different cars and that type of thing. So that's really a lot of what the shows are about, is meeting the other people and the camaraderie that you pick up and the friends you pick up. And it's not just the Dukes alone. I mean, it's all the other clubs that are involved. And
sure.
And so it's a lot of fun. And the wives come and so it's just a good time.
Yeah. And that, that's another thing that a lot of people, it used to be, cars were kind of a guy's thing. But, I mean, with groups like in Spokane, they got the Misshifters, and there's other clubs that, not only admit, but focus on women, and women are building their own cars. It's obviously that, it's not necessarily an equal thing, but it's in terms of population. But, the enthusiasm is there. They have a lot of fun. Personally, the only hot rod that we have in my house at this moment that is running is my wife's.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it, actually.
No, I don't blame you.
But yeah, she's got a 41 Dodge D19 luxury liner. And
wow.
It's a road boat. I mean, it's just a gorgeous car, and it's baby blue. And she just loves the thing, running boards and full fenders and suicide doors, the whole 9 yards. It's just off the road for a little while here while we're changing it from 6-volt to 12-volt. But it's just fun. She just loves the thing. She's never shy about saying, "That's my car."
Yeah, for
It's not
sure.
my husband's car. It's my, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, it's your car. But it's a great thing that brings people together. And I gotta say, the Father's Day car show over there does exactly that. So many dads show up with their kids at that thing, and they get a little education about how the church works and what kind of programs they've got going on there, and a ton of programs at Valley Real Life. Get introduced to people sometimes for the first time they're at that show, and they have a great time. And after the services, well, John, from last year, people come running out of their service and just go out and enjoy themselves out in the field and look at all the cars and stuff. And I think this year we might have another moment of thunder. What do you think?
I think so. I think we should do it. I
I do,
agree.
because that's big fun. Everybody
Yeah.
likes their cars, but well, Lynn, let me just ask you, sir, as a professional hot rodder with a 350 engine in your Ford, we won't even talk about that.
Yeah.
Is it any source of amusement and entertainment to you to start that thing up now and then and, and listen to it run?
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, it's got Flowmaster exhaust on it. And it sounds quite nice. It's not as maybe as rappy as maybe a gasser or something like that. Those are really what people are looking at to hear start up and rev them up and that type of thing. But no, it has a nice mellow sound to it, and it's
Nice.
I enjoy the sound of it.
Well,
Yeah.
that moment of thunder is made for you. You know how that works, right?
Yeah. No, not for sure.
Oh, really? Oh, so we usually designate a particular time, and I'm just going to hypothetically say at 2 o'clock, everybody goes back to their car and everybody starts them up. And for 60 seconds, you just rev the heck out of it as much as your car will take it, just so we can all enjoy the sound of the motors. It's
Oh,
a
sure.
moment of
Sounds
fun.
like fun.
It is.
Sounds like fun.
It is fun. I stole it as an idea for a show blatantly from a Harley club that I was part of. Those guys really like to rev their motors.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's
We'll
been
definitely have to have some gassers here if we're going to do that.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I may know a couple of guys who have them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sure they'll show up.
Well, there were a couple of them up at the Cars and Coffee last weekend. John saw them.
Right. Yeah.
Both of those guys are going to show up, by the way. So we'll get some more in the meantime. So by way of wrapping it up, this conversation, we're doing this in March, in early March, but it's going to get added to and rebroadcast up until the time of the show. The show is Father's Day 2023. It is the Valley Real Life Father's Day car show. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. It doesn't cost a single solitary dime to go and see it. And if you want to know more about it, there is a post on Facebook. There's going to be ongoing, what am I trying to say, promotions that happen. There's an event that was created on Facebook. And I think, is this year another one of those years where you're going to get the cards and hand those out as well?
Yes. That's when we're going to go to different car shows. We're going to hand out little flyers to remind everybody.
Yeah.
And the neat thing about this is when the kids come out, you ask a kid, what attracted you to this car? Either they like the color, they like the radiator, they like the wheels, they like the motor. And it's always neat to see what draws a kid to a specific car. It's really neat.
Yeah. Just a quick aside, one of my buddies has a truck that he built that's, kind of an old school. It looks like an army truck. I mean, it's not, but it looks like that. And kids come up and they just love that thing. Can I sit in it? And of course, he's like, absolutely. Go ahead. Of course you can. And God, they climb all over the thing and they just have such a good time. And for them, I got to sit in an army truck, even though it's not, but it looks like what's got a big star on the window. So it's little stuff like that
Right.
puts a smile on your face for doing this. Well, hey guys, thanks a bunch for taking some time out of your day and yakking with me. This turned out really good. The video is real nice looking. I can see both of you mostly. But
Good.
we may do another one of these before the show. But in the meantime, I hope the rest of your night is a winner. And Lynn, great to put a face to the name. I know I saw your car last year, but we haven't actually talked much. So thanks for doing that. And John, I will see you on the road.
That sounds good.
Hey,
Thanks, Brady.
thanks for doing this, Brady. Appreciate it.
All right. We promised you a look at Lynn Ulrich's People's Choice winner, and here it is. The Hot Rod Podcast is sponsored by the Idaho Hot Rod Hall of Fame, a nonprofit organization that recognizes and rewards men and women who actively promote the hot rod community, clubs, and builders all over the state of Idaho. Every year we award a Hot Rodder of the Year, a Club of the Year, and a Young Rodder of the Year, as well as giving out scholarship money to students in the auto trades programs at local colleges. If you want to know more, or if you want to nominate an honoree, go to idahof.org or email us at idahof@gmail.com. That's Idahof, IDAHHOF.org, or again, idahof@gmail.com. That's it for this episode of the Hot Rod Podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to our show, and we appreciate it if you smash those notification buttons too, so you'll know when a new one drops. For Ron Foreman, I'm Brady Wright. This has been the Hot Rod Podcast. We'll see you on the next one.